And we now blame those athletes when they come back.
When they don't do well.
Didn't do well. I think it's only fair. And that's why, we're taking a look at this again, the issue of funding. Like you said, are we going to be singing the same song all the time? Or we're going to stand up and just do something about it for once? All right, let's quickly take a report on that issue. We don't just want to be talking about it. Our correspondent, Austin Okon-Akpan, put together a very good report, taking a look about the issue of funding and the way forward in Nigerian sports. So let's take a look at our report and come back for more. Sports this morning. John Skin.
After an unimpressive outing at the London 2012 Olympics, sport followers in Nigeria were optimistic for a positive change, but funding issues popped up again. With days to the commencement of the Rio Olympic Games, the football team got stranded in Atlanta and arrived in Brazil just few hours before their opening match against Japan.
The events of Atlanta, the theory of the team being stranded is a hoax.
I got a phone call to say, please buy your flight, and I bought my flight and refund upon arrival into Rio, and I got here, and the officials had me running around for 6 days.
And we get here, we're getting no support, we're running around chasing for money that we're owed, but suffice it to say, it's very frustrating.
The problem of funding isn't new to table tennis. Most of the tournaments Aaron Okwara and his peers have featured in are self-sponsored.
A lot of times we have tournaments, everybody will be ready, visa will be ready. At the end of the day, they'll say no money to sponsors, and if you can sponsor yourself, which they know that it's not possible.
Boxing in Nigeria has been turned upside down. Only one boxer could make it to the Rio Olympics. Again, funding is the enemy.
The preparation, I don't know where, I just can't say what exactly is wrong with us as a people. If we don't want to do sports, for Christ's sake, let's shut our doors.
But South Africa seems to be doing good with sports funding. The country's Sports Confederation and Olympic Committee sent the nation's largest ever delegation to Rio. A total of 138 athletes, 93 men and 45 women, competing across 15 sports. The Nigeria Olympic Committee has been having a series of meetings to address this funding issue. For a country with a vast market, why has sports funding been difficult to achieve?
We'll still go there in jaded uniforms. We'll still go there with more officials than athletes. Nothing has changed, and that's because we keep recycling the same people to handle the exercise. And it's very sad.
What should the country start doing to address the problem?
The private sector must be involved. You see, the federations must create an enabling environment for the private sector to come in.
For any major international competition, it's not a tea party. You need 4 years, some serious countries 8 years. So we need to really get serious in terms of our planning, in terms of scheduling. It's not necessarily about money. It's about budgeting and having a plan because other people can support.
There have been constant calls on private organizations and individuals to support sports in Nigeria. Well, until those prospective sponsors can attest to credibility and accountability in the system, the problem of funding will persist. Austin Okon-Akpan, Channels Television News.
I hope that last line will not be our story in the next 4 years. I hope, in Austin's words, that the problems of funding will not persist. But a lot has been, raised. And just play back what you said 4 years ago, 8 years ago.
Same thing.
Still the same.
Same thing.
It's really sad.
Broken record, actually. It's a big shame that it's that way. And you start to ask, who's really responsible for this? And at the end of the day, the buck still stops at the table of the government. That's the bottom line. I mean, all across the world, the government plays a major, significant role when it comes to this kind of situations. But unfortunately, it's not the case here. It's a lot of lip service. From that report, we saw that it's actually affected all sports across board. It affects flight tickets, as little as that. It affects preparations, which is very important when you go into these major competitions. It affects everything. Interestingly, we didn't see football. They have their own issues as well, but you have to say recently it looks like they have put their house in order. They've got a lot of sponsors on board now, so we're not going to hear a lot about funding problems in football, even though at the start of the year we had issues with the Super Falcon. So it's across board, and we're just hoping for a permanent solution. And I always say it every time, I'll say it again, it still boils down to the political will. And if that's not sorted, then we're going to keep coming back here to talk about the same issues. We saw South Africa in that report as well. So we don't even need to go outside of Africa if you're looking for a country that knows what it's doing, that knows how to actually develop sports and how to help the athletes realize their full potentials. We don't need to go too far. South Africa is a case study for Nigeria, and I just wonder if these guys are really serious about taking sport to the next level. If they're serious about ensuring that sport flourishes in Nigeria. I really doubt that. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a very gloomy picture right now, but we hope that things will change for Nigeria. Like Tayo said, the willpower, that's what's been missing. In other climes, you have the government and the private sector join hands together. If that's what we need to do right here in the country, so be it, and ensure that the right people are put in place, make people accountable. I think that's one of the reasons, my opinion here, why the public side, the private sector is shying away.
Of course.
If you're going to, it's not about throwing money at people. If I throw money at you and I don't ask you to account for the money, I'm corrupt. I'm corrupt as well. But if, I mean, we have a lot of well-meaning Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians who can afford.
Really, yeah.
They do it for.
And we've seen examples.
Sports events outside Nigeria, but when it comes to here, I mean, you have a lot of companies in the country as well who could bankroll, sponsor athletes, do a lot of things. But I mean, accountability is the issue. Nobody wants to have this name robbed in more other things you've achieved over the years. Let's cool off. It's a mouthful, a lot to talk about. But let's go on a break, and when we come back, still so much for you on Sports This Morning. Join us again.